Okay. It is on. So with that said, welcome everybody. Nice to see you all. We're gonna get through this meeting in the quickest possible time. Keep your comments brief this time around. It would be really appreciated. We're gonna try to get through this as quickly as possible because I think under this,
Let's go.
certain people are not feeling 100%. So let's see what we can do with that. Anyway, with that said, Christian, would you like to take roll for us, please?
Yes, I will. And just one point of information, Alexander, is that who I see Alec Norman as?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I will do the roll now then. Rock Ashfield,
Here.
Armando Balderrama,
Here.
John Barbera,
Here.
Mary Chan,
Here.
Adrianita Reyes Cruz. Adrianita,
Let me see if she came in as attendee. No, I don't see her here yet.
okay. Ron D'Angelo,
Present.
John DeMeglio,
Here.
Dan Dixon,
Here.
Cynthia Gagne, Cynthia,
I don't see her, Christian.
Not yet.
Gwen Henry,
Present.
I know her.
Laurie
Here.
Jacobs,
I'm here.
I know her.
Melanie
Here.
Lebrecht, Kelly Miller,
Here.
Alexander Norman,
Here. And also Adrianita is also in the attendees.
Dang it, stop.
Thank you.
Ray Regalado,
Here.
Chris Faye.
Here.
Okay, in that case, there's only one person not here.
Okay. So, anyway, just a quick thing, reminder, we're going to stick to our 2-minute comments to make our meeting as quick as we can. And I see your, there we go, we're back. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
So let's go down to public comment, item number 3. Anyone for public comment?
I would like to, in advance of our youth and outreach agenda item, I'm going to put some links to some of that's relative to some of the material we're discussing, if people want to browse as we go along.
Okay. I see Gwen has her hand up.
I sure do. Of course, April 22nd is Earth Day, and there are some activities over at Friendship Park. One thing that everybody can participate in, even though it's COVID, if you take your phones and upload iNaturalist and you go on a nice little walk, photograph everything, photograph nature around you, plants, animals, insects, even fungi, you know, not fun guy, but mushrooms and lichen, whatever you want. Reason being is that it's also a time to capture the biodiversity of Los Angeles. There's a city challenge that goes on every year, and Los Angeles, of course, is competing for capturing the city's biodiversity. We are one of the top 30 cities in the world for diversity of species. We have more very rich, we're in a very rich area for a variety of creatures and animals and everything. So go get those lizards, go get those bugs, go get those birds.
Ray, I have a question for you that was put in the chat, that if Christian puts, if Chris puts any notes in the Q&A, I don't know if attendees also can see that or not, the way our format is.
Is there somewhere that I can post they can see them?
I don't believe so at this point, Chris. We should have had that information,
Chat. You can post
Um,
in the chat for all.
but ahead of time for people to review, so.
Well, I mean,
um,
okay, that's just supplemental.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
also if everybody could mute if you're not raising your hand to speak. Thank you.
Okay, we have another hand up under public comment, and that's from Rock. Rock, you want to go ahead and make a statement? Rock?
I was saying I couldn't see myself anymore. Real quick, and I hope this is the right place, but we are conducting a food drive that really ends like the second Thursday in May. It's something we do every year. It's our National Day of Contribution, and the foodstuffs go to Toberman Center, Harbor Interfaith, and Pedro Pet Pals. So in the maybe the next stuff where we can get some out through the neighborhood council, because this would normally be just one day, but we're trying to make it a month of getting soliciting contributions that can be stored at our office. So I just wanted to get that out there. And if Lori or someone else can direct me how I can get more out there through this channel, that'd be great.
Please email me the information, Rock.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Toiletries too, or just food?
It's not so much toiletries. It really is foodstuffs. We're trying to redo their, we do accept cash for Harbor Interfaith and obviously Pedro Pet Pals. So it's mostly pantry items and pet food and cash.
Thank
We'll
you,
have a
Rock.
list on our flyer, just so you know.
Thank you, Ron. I got Mary also who has her hand up. Mary?
Good evening. I'd like to express my gratitude to you, the board, and all stakeholders and participants of Northwest and Pedro Neighborhood Council. Congratulations to the folks who are running, the new candidates and the existing ones. Because of the value experience that I have experienced through the last 3 years of Neighborhood Council, I ran and won a seat on the board of NAMI SGV, that's National Alliance on Mental Illness, San Gabriel Valley last December. And so I congratulate you all and thank you again for allowing me this wonderful experience. And I will also reach out for our NAMI Walks annual fundraiser. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Very nice.
Mary. And thank you for the kind words on behalf of the council. Now we have a hand up for a public comment on the attendee side, and it looks like it's Shadra Stewart. Can you unmute yourself? Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't see my mute button. Hi, this is Chadra Stewart. I wasn't for sure if this was the appropriate time. I'm a teacher at Park Western Place Elementary, and I wanted to speak up for what's happening with the KIPP Charter School. Is now the good time?
We lost you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a teacher at Park Western Place Elementary School, and I was wondering, is this the appropriate time to speak up for our school and in favor of not having a KIPP charter come to our area? Or is there another particular part in the program?
Ray, what do you want to do?
We have that. We have an agenda item associated with that, do we not?
Okay, if we do,
Yes.
I can wait.
Okay, yeah, that would be more appropriate during the agenda item.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome. I don't see any other hands, so officially public comment is closed. We're going to move on to item number 4. And
Excuse me, Ray.
What?
People keep texting me that Adrianita's still in attendees and I don't see her there.
I'm looking at attendees right now, and I don't see her also. But let me take one quick scan real quick.
I moved her once, so I don't know.
She's there. I
There
see
she
her.
is. Yeah,
There
she's
she is. Oh, okay, got it. I'll try it again. Okay.
Got it
Sorry,
now.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Ray. My apologies.
Okay. Hang on, I'm just making a quick list here of public representatives or elected representatives.
Okay, and did you want to do the election before that or no?
During presentations,
Okay,
is what we agreed upon. So we have some government and elected representatives. I see Joanna, Ryan, and then we have two individuals from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment with Octaviano and Robertino. So Joanna, would you like to go ahead and go first? Do you have anything you would like to mention under elected officials reports? I'm trying to see if you are.
you have to ask her to unmute.
There you are. Go ahead. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, well, hello there. Thank you so much, board. I just wanted to just come here and just give you guys some information on what what our office has been up to. As you all know, we're still in a pandemic, and we've been doing what our offices now have been really pushing for is to bring vaccines to our communities most hit. That were highly impacted by COVID. So we're actually here, been really advocating our office to bring COVID vaccines to Council District 15. As you all know, there's a map that exists and it's called like a heat map. And based on the map, at the beginning of the pandemic, we saw a huge uptick in just trends in our COVID cases up in the Valley and also East LA as well as South LA. So all of our efforts were focused there at the beginning of the pandemic. Now, as we're getting more of the supply, and now that we have our mobile vaccine, we're actually going from community to community. So I've been really pushing for our community, for Council District 15, to have a mobile vaccine event. So we actually had our first one in Council District 15 last week. And it was actually located in the Watts community. South LA, Watts, for some reason, they didn't count Watts as part of South LA. So that's why there was a big delay. But if you look at the map, the map basically says that the hot areas were in South LA, deep South LA. So Watts wasn't included. So we actually vaccinated over 1,200 people in Watts, and we had people coming from San Pedro, from Wilmington, from Harbor Gateway, and I just want to give a quick shout out to our neighborhood councils for really pushing that out. So we're actually here, I'm getting another site, and we're actually going to be in Wilmington, starting tomorrow through Saturday. So if you know anyone that needs to get vaccinated, eligibility is actually getting expanded this week to everyone. So anyone that's 18 or older, because this is the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, they can email me directly or they can contact the council office. I'm looking at our sheet right now for tomorrow, and I have about 20 spots available for today. So if anyone is interested in getting vaccinated tomorrow, please let me know and we can get you on the list. Remember, I am doing anyone that's 18 and older. So if you are a senior and you got vaccinated, we want to make sure that your whole household gets vaccinated as well as your neighbors. So please, if you guys can help promote this so we can get as many people in the harbor vaccinated.
What is your email?
Thank you. It is Joanna, and it's JOHNNA .Rodriguez, and it's again, it's JOHANNA .Rodriguez, RODRIGUEZ. So again, Joanna, JOHANNA .Rodriguez, RODRIGUEZ at lacity.org. I have 20 slots available for tomorrow. So if you are available tomorrow, let's get you in and out. It's just one shot and that's it. I'm checking for tomorrow. I'm getting 150 shots every single day. So I am going to be asking our team for another vaccine event in the harbor. So I'm going to be putting together a proposal I've definitely included San Pedro, but again, I just want to make sure that there's something available in the harbor, because one thing I've been sharing with our team is that it's hard. It's really difficult for our community to go to like the Dodger Stadium. Sometimes it can take up to an hour to get there, if not more. Like I said, our first one was in Watts. Our next one is starting this week. And for tomorrow, I have about 120 slots available for tomorrow, but I am trying to fill our slots for tomorrow. So I know that
We
there's
just got an email from me, so
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Who was that? Who was that?
Rock.
Rock?
Yeah.
Rock, when you email me, if you could just include your phone number so we can, so
It's
I can
there.
give you a call. Oh,
It's there.
Salome Marin. I got you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rock, also, can you make sure that you bring some kind of ID to make sure that you're over 18?
I'm gonna bring my shirt, Ray. It's self-explanatory.
Thank you, Ray. And I see Melanie has a question.
Melanie, you're muted.
Joanna.
Hi, Melanie.
Okay, so I'm going to run some figures by you and bring
course.
some concerns that I have. Okay.
course.
In Northwest San Pedro, our population is 21,890. In Central San Pedro, it's 30,509. And in Coastal, it's 28,510. Out of that, people over 65 in Central, it's 10.87%. Coastal, it's 17.51%. Northwest has 21.75% people that are over 65.
Mm-hmm.
In San Pedro, the population that's been vaccinated is only 11.99% of 65 and over of our population. That is concerning to me. We are doing nothing to get the 65 and over population vaccinated, and the mayor's office and the councilman is not doing anything to get that area of 65 and over vaccinated. We need to do a push to get the elderly that aren't able to drive to even Wilmington or to Compton or to any other area. We need to set up a pop-up here in San Pedro for 65 and over. And we need to focus on them.
Thank you, Melanie. No, thank you for bringing this up. Like I said, as the representative for the Watts and Harbor area, I've been pushing our office to make sure that there's something available in City 15, because since the start of the pandemic, we just did not have anything. And like I said, it's a start. We did have, finally, we were able to bring one in CD 15 just this week. Our second site that I'm overseeing is going to be in Wilmington. And I'm actually putting another proposal. If I can finish, Melanie, please. And I am pushing for 2 more sites, one in Harbor Gateway, because that's another hard area. And then a second one down in San Pedro. So I am coordinating with the council office to put those proposals, and a lot of the approach that I'm doing is it's a lot of grassroots. So Melanie, if you have direct contacts with people with especially our seniors, please feel free to email me. That way I can in these calls that I'll be convening. So right now, the way I'm operating is I'll put together a what I call a team. Right now I'm focusing a lot in Wilmington, so we've gathered together some of our CBOs in the area to help me, because again, these mobile sites, they're dedicated to make sure that we're vaccinating people in the area, in that community. So we definitely need.
Melanie, could you give Joanna an opportunity to finish her comment?
Thank you. So Melanie, if you want to help me and help our the council office in making sure that our seniors are getting vaccinated, let me know, send me an email. And once we get a vaccine event in San Pedro, I can loop you in those conversations.
Yeah, I'm completely vaccinated and free to go and be out.
Okay. So I'm gonna get you. You're gonna be definitely my volunteer, and you're definitely gonna help me with down in San Pedro, because we can use all the help. Honestly, the more the merrier. So I'm actually adding you to my list of contacts once we get to San Pedro. Okay. But thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Joanna. Anything else, Joanna?
Oh yeah, last thing And definitely I need Melanie, if you can help with this, especially for our seniors. And this, again, this goes for everyone, but I just want to remind you all that 2 weeks ago, our emergency rental assistance program called ERAB opened their application. So if anyone has been impacted by COVID, the applications are now open through April 30th. There was a first round of pick that happened this past Friday. So I really want to make sure that we are getting the word out. Melanie, if you know any seniors, you seem like you are connected, please share this with our seniors. And again, this goes for anyone. We want to make sure that our community in San Pedro are the ones that are applying for this, because there's a lot of people that have been impacted. And I know there was a community in Harbor Gateway that I know actually applied for the first round of our first emergency rental application, and they got a couple of $1,000s because they were behind. Their hours were slashed, and they just couldn't make ends meet. So if you know anyone, please make sure to notify. There's also an upcoming CBO meeting specifically. Sorry about that. There's also an upcoming CBO training. So definitely, Melanie, and again, this goes to our board. Please sign up for this training. That way you can also assist in any, if you guys can assist with the application process. There is a hotline number that people can call to get help with the application. And then there's also the online version. But as we all know, sometimes people, especially our elderly, they have difficulties getting on the computer. So there is that option. But what's better is that there's that opportunity to get trained. So Melanie, I'm gonna sign you up. Once you email me, I'll send you the information, because it does seem like you're definitely engaged with our seniors. Again, this goes for anyone. If you guys can push this out, I'm going to be adding it to my social media pages. So it really helps when you guys are active also in social media. But I mean, there's nothing better than, going old school and doing grassroots and picking up the phone call and just making sure people are aware. So if you have an upcoming event, let me know so we can send you those flyers. I'm going to be pushing it out during our, during the vaccine event. I'm going to make sure that I'm handing that information to people's hands. So yeah, anyways, does anyone have any questions on the ERAP?
I have a hand up from Lori. Lori, is this on the ERAP?
Yeah, it's on both of the things that Joanna just shared on. Thank you so much, Joanna. So on our neighborhood council Facebook page and on the general San Pedro Facebook page that has over 15,000 people on there, we've already posted both the vaccination information that's here now this week, and also on the COVID emergency rental assistance program, because that has such a short window. As always, sadly, in a little bit to what Melanie was saying, because of the digital divide, it's very difficult to reach some of the people who, not just seniors, but other people who, for whatever reasons, are not online. I do know that they were arranging for mobile units to try and come to people and talking to senior centers. So I know there's a lot of work in process, and it's not just up to you personally, but I also know that you worked the event every single day last week, very long days, and your efforts are greatly appreciated. And reach out to me as outreach if you have other ideas on way I can reach people who are not online. Then just go ahead and give me a call off this call. Thank you.
Lori. I mean, I can share. There was I mean, when I say people have been impacted, I mean, just to give you a sense of what happened in Watts, we had a street vendor that really wanted to get vaccinated, but was like, I cannot leave. I have to make money because I got sick, and I have to pay my bills. So there's people that have been impacted. They're trying their best. So for that case, I actually had one of my interns stay at that post while I took him to get vaccinated. And then by the time he came back, there was about 10 customers who were actually waiting for him. So happy that he got vaccinated, but that they wanted to be supportive and they didn't want to leave. So I mean, that's the type of grassroots. Definitely the Watts, this event has definitely changed the way I look at grassroots. And I think that's the way I want to make sure that we're continuing to, to push these efforts, these vaccine efforts in our area. So I've been to church masses, signing up people. Again, I'm just one person. So if you are connected with the church, I mean, if you guys can ask the priest or the pastor, any like the faith leaders, hey, can I take a couple of minutes to just give a little spill on the emergency rentals program, or can I talk a little bit about the importance of vaccine? If there's a church that you attend, like, let me know, because I'm happy to also go to your church and talk to people about it. So please let me know. I am available.
Joanna, you just gave me a bunch of ideas on social media. Instead of trying to just reach the people, I need to reach out to faith-based organizations and other organizations so they can reach out to their constituents. So thank you. That's very helpful. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I mean, the event that we had in Watts was, as you guys all know, like, I'm from Watts. So I'm from CD 15. I actually reached out to my priest and I said, hey, can we have the event at your church? And he opened the doors. We had the event at the church. And actually, and thinking, for the San Pedro, I mean, the first person I thought of was like Pastor Lisa. Everyone knows Pastor Lisa. It's so close to our our public housing in San Pedro. So that's definitely someone that I'm going to be reaching out to. Again, I work really closely with CD15. I talk to them several times a day. So I know that I'm going to be conversating with Ryan to bounce ideas. And again, Ryan has been there. He's from the community, so he's always recommending. And I mean, he's just a mind full of knowledge. So we're using those existing relationships that people have. So
perfect. Thank you.
Okay, Joanna, that it?
That's it. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Joanna, thank you so much for all the work that you're doing out there, okay? And really, we really want to thank you and Ryan and all the others. We'll be up a little bit next, and we just appreciate the outreach that you guys are doing and the work that you're doing for us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, I have Ryan. Ryan, let me see where.
I got it, Ray.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
You can unmute
Ryan, you're
now.
up.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay, perfect. And I want to thank Joanna. I was going to report on the Wilmington site this week as well, but she beat me to it. Just one other thing to add. I received this information today, but we also have the city is doing. Forgive me one moment. A homebound vaccination program. So this is for the dependent and homebound population. If you or someone like you can't make it to a vaccination site for whatever the reason is, the city, I believe the fire department is doing, the fire department and Corps are doing homebound vaccinations for individuals, again, that can't make it out to a vaccination site. If you know someone that would like to participate, please send me their contact information so I can reach out and fill out the form for them, and then they will be contacted by either the fire department or Corps in order to make that appointment. So I wanted to add that as well to what Joanna was saying. But I also main reason I'm here right now is last Tuesday evening, you all should have on the board should have received an email from me announcing the Boost Gaino Community Grants Program that we launched again last Tuesday. Last week was sort of like a pre-registration period, and the grant program, the application period actually went live this morning at 9 a.m. We're looking for bold ideas for project proposals in the communities of Watts, Wilmington, Harbor City, Harbor Gateway, and San Pedro. Organizations can apply for grant amounts between $10,000 and $100,000. The program operate in 3 phases. First, the nonprofits will submit their proposals. Second, the proposals will be vetted to make sure they meet all the requirements, and I can go into that some detail on that later. And finally, there'll be a community voting period where residents will choose which projects are funded with their votes. We're encouraging, all local nonprofit organizations to submit their proposals to the councilman's website. It's la15.com/Gaino grants. And so we're encouraging all that. Again, application phase opened up today at 9 a.m. It will close at 11:59 p.m. on April 30th. The proposals must address at least one of the following categories: homelessness, racial disparities, city services/beautification, economic development, nonprofit/community investment, recreation and youth programming, and/or reimagining public safety. In second phase of the program, all proposals will be reviewed to ensure that they meet the outline criteria in phase 1 and have also submitted all the required documentation. The vetting phase will take place during the week of May 3rd, 2021. Once applications have been cleared, community members will have the chance to vote for the project of their choice during the 3rd phase, which will determine which programs will be funded. To maximize community improvements and ensure that each project has a chance to receive the community grant, projects will only compete against other projects within the same neighborhood. So San Pedro project is not going to compete against a Wilmington or a Watts project, but only against San Pedro proposals, I should say. Moreover, community members who vote on the projects are limited to individuals who reside in Council District 15. Community voting period will be from May 10th to May 31st. Following the voting period, votes will be tallied and the winners will be announced at a to be determined date in June. So we're looking forward to seeing the transformative proposals that we will receive. And again, the website is la15.com/Gaino grants, which I'll put in the chat as well. One other thing I wanted to touch upon, some of the the documentation required is that it does have to be a current and up-to-date nonprofit, so they have 501c3 status. All applicants must submit a copy of the organization's W-9 or their federal proof of nonprofit determination letter or their articles of incorporation, or bylaws can be submitted in place of articles of incorporation if they're unavailable. All applicants must also submit a copy of their BTRC with the City of Los Angeles. If they don't have one, our website does have a link to go to where they can fill out the form and get one. And again, project proposals must serve Watts, Harbor City, Harbor Gateway, Wilmington, or San Pedro in the city of LA. So again, the deadline is for applications are 11:59 p.m. April 30th, 2021. And so yeah.
Ryan, all of that information has been posted on our website, and I will send out a reminder.
Thank you so much, Lori. I do appreciate it. And thank you for being so quick to post that.
Right. Is that it, Ryan?
That is it.
It's so nice to hear from you. Thanks a lot for letting us know about this. Thank you.
No problem. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat as well for those that don't have it.
Okay. Well, good. All right. We're going to move on. I have, let me see, Octaviano, anything from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment representing governmental representative? I see. Let's see. Okay. You want to unmute yourself?
I think I unmuted myself. Can you hear me, Mr. Chair?
Yes, I can hear you. And I think everyone else can too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. This is Octaviano Rios with the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. It's a pleasure to be here tonight with you all virtually, preferably in person, but what are we going to do these days, right? Quick announcements, updates for you all this April. I know that you're well into your elections and it looks like you are headed to a very successful outcome with your candidate registrations, as well as hopefully the number of voters that participate and stakeholders that hopefully are simply just aware of the awesome work that your neighborhood council does and the engagement level that you have, not only during the pandemic, but holding these wonderful monthly meetings virtually to continue the advocacy for your community's needs. So thank you all for your leadership. I think it does I definitely do appreciate taking the time to thank you all for the work that you do. We go straight into business sometimes that we don't stop and really give you all an applause and just share our gratitude for your leadership and the hard work that you do all year round. So thank you for that. I won't go into the elections per se into detail because it seems like you have your election administrator here with you, Robertino. So I'll leave that portion to him to shed some light. I do want to share that there is some funding training coming up for you all this month. There will be some workshops on specifically the administrative packet annual budget. The next one that's going to be held, one was held April 8th. The next one is April 22nd at 6 p.m. And there's 2 other workshops with the City Clerk's Office, the NC Funding Program and System Portal Training, April 13th at 2 o'clock and April 27th at 6 p.m. That is information that's straight out of your NC profiles. I did want to highlight it because sometimes people can't get to their NC profiles with the busy schedules. So my pleasure to highlight that at the very least. I did have a talk via email with your VP, Lori, about the new boarding seating policy, new board seating policy. It doesn't really apply to you all as a neighborhood council, but just be aware that many of our neighborhood councils, after their certification of their elections, many do get seated the following month. It could be July, it could be June, it could be April, it could be May. So what the department has instituted is a policy that's going to be a hard requirement in 2 years, next election season, but this season, it's going to be an option to either have your board seated July 1st, starting July 1st, or the following month after your elections. You should be aware that your elections may not fall in June in 2 years. It's going to be on a rotating basis. And of course, City Clerk's Office can shed some light on that at a later time. So we're just trying to create a system where everybody gets onboarded, gets orientations, gets their certifications, login, credentials, all at the same time, with minimizing and reducing some of the transitional headaches that we've experienced in the past. Let's see, I do want to commend the commission and you, of course, Commissioner Regalados here for signing on to the resolution on civility and positive human relations. Did want to promote and highlight that your commission, Board of Neighborhood Commissioners, did sign a resolution committing and empowering Angelenos in building a community of elected volunteers that are focused on unifying the community, having a hospitable and positive discourse at their meetings, and also supporting Council File 20-0990, which supports the diversity, equity, and inclusion training and anti-bias training that all of our neighborhood council board members will be required to take soon. Second, I do want to send you all an email of an article of a local paper, La Opinión, that's written in Spanish, but you can easily translate in English, highlighting the story of individuals that are not documented, that are running, that are candidates for the neighborhood council, their respective neighborhood council. And it just highlights the inclusivity and openness of the system to advocate for the needs of all. Not only of those that are not documented, but those that are unhoused and those that are formerly incarcerated, as well as those that live, work, own property, and have a community interest in the community, as we all know. But sometimes we forget that we can also reach out to these underrepresented community members that can be a part of the fabric and discussion of your priorities in the community and neighborhoods. And they also are impacted with our services and have needs just like the rest of us. So I just wanted to highlight that, and it's just a great article to read and a good reminder of a segment of our community that we can reach out to. And that's it, folks. Just thank you for all the hard work that you do and continuing to communicate with me your concerns and all the positive work that you do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Octaviano. I do not see any raised hands for any questions, so thanks a lot for the information. We're going to move on.
Thank you.
And I'll just budget rep. Melanie, anything? Unmute yourself, Melanie. There you
They
go.
were posted on our website,
Okay.
what we gotten from the Budget Advocate report.
That's good. Thank you. And I don't recognize anyone from the Budget Advocate's office. Anyone? If you can
We
raise
don't
your
have a
hand.
budget advocate rep right
No,
now.
but someone could be from one of the attendees, so I'm just double checking. And I don't see any hands
Reported
going
there
up.
on our website.
Pardon me?
They sent us 2 reports from
Right.
the Budget Advocate, but that's it.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll move on. First responders, I do see are very engaged and involved Officer Dan Brown. Dan, I'm going to,
You want me to make him a panelist?
you can make him a panelist if you like.
There we go. I got the unmute thing. Can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay, excellent. So good evening, everybody. I'm Officer Dan Brown, as Ray mentioned. I'm sure most of you guys know me. I'm going to give you guys a brief crime update for March 2021. For the first time in a few months, I have lower crime numbers to report. So I'm happy about that. The overall crime drop in March 2021 versus March 2020 was 27.5% or so. So pretty good chunk. That largely came from a continued drop in simple thefts like shoplifting, unattended property, bike theft, things like that. That was down half. And that's something that we've seen throughout the first few months of 2021. So that's a continuing good trend. A continuing bad trend is the high numbers of vehicle thefts. We had 16 this year compared to 15 last year. So it's not much higher than last year, but remember last year was kind of a little bit of a higher year. So that's a little bit troubling, but aggravated assaults were also down. Unfortunately, we did have a shooting in my area in March. It technically doesn't fall under this neighborhood council's area, but it was in the area of 2nd and Pacific, which is where my border with the other central San Pedro Slough falls. On March 26th in the early afternoon hours, a male who was outside on the corner was shot. Nobody was cooperative with us. There was the victim, obviously he was shot in the knee and he's in stable condition, but he didn't see or hear anything. There were multiple witnesses outside. Nobody gave us any kind of description whatsoever. So really unfortunate, but that's what we're dealing with a lot of these crimes. And shootings are up quite a bit in the city overall. In Harbor area as a whole, our violent crime is up a little over 10% compared to last year. But shootings also have been a very big problem for us. Just this last weekend, there were 3 significant shootings with victims hit. At least 1 or 2 of those people died. I know at last check, one of them who was shot in the head was at the hospital and unknown what their condition would be, but definitely troubling. So it's something that we're continuing to work through. You know, violent crime has been a problem this year, as you guys have heard me mentioning, but it's something that we're continuing to work on. And I do have one thing to report specifically for you, Melanie, because you were hitting me up about this issue with graffiti in the Harbor Highlands Park. I called you, what was it? I think it was Saturday night. You had given me an email about some tagging at Harbor Highlands Park, some gang-related graffiti that Melanie saw tagged on a wall there. It was PWL in red paint, which refers to the Park Western Lomas gang, which is kind of a smaller gang here in San Pedro. But I have seen quite a bit of their tagging. And the video cameras captured the vehicle that was used. And it just so happened I was doing some crime suppression Saturday night. So we were working late Saturday night and we saw the car and it had some significant, some distinguishing marks on the car. So we saw a car that matched some of the distinguishing characteristics. So it was kind of just dumb luck, if you will, but there was a 17-year-old driver inside and eventually he admitted to being involved in that graffiti, and he didn't really have a criminal record. And you know, he's young, high school kid, and we got a hold of his parents. And the laws with juveniles and crimes and interviewing have gotten really tough on us lately. And there's not really any easy way to officially interview a juvenile right now. And so based on his criminal history, his involvement with his family, being willing to step up and be involved, we actually got him referred to our GRID program, like our gang alternatives program. And so he didn't have any gang tattoos or anything. I'm hoping that the hunch that we got, which is that he's just kind of beginning to dabble in this kind of gang affiliated lifestyle, was right. And that this intervention with our gang intervention SLO, Officer Nua, and with the GRID program, you know, as long as his parents buy in and help participate, we'll set him on the right path. So that's just a little update from that one, because I know Melanie had sent me an email about that just the other day. So that's all I have for tonight, unless there's any questions.
Yeah, hi, Dan. I do have a quick question. We understand that there was a call to the bomb squad over in this area.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I was working on that one too. That was another day we were doing a crime suppression task force. We were actually on ATVs that day, and we were driving through the Rancho San Pedro housing projects, and we got a call from our narcotics unit, who was serving a search warrant in connection to some of the recent shootings that we've had in San Pedro. And so they were short on resources in patrol, and the narco unit is not very big. They do have a gang unit, but this type of search warrant that they were serving actually involved 3 separate locations in search of the suspect and evidence, and they kind of needed to be served simultaneously to reduce the chance for evidence being, you know, disposed of or destroyed. And so they called us to assist. So I was actually on the back of that house providing rear containment when they served that search warrant. And being in the back, you know, you're not always privy to exactly what's going on inside, but you know, we know the suspect was taken into custody, and when they were searching the house just to clear the location of any additional residents or suspects that could be inside, they ended up finding what appeared to be some kind of pressure cooker type device that was, you know, outfitted with some wires and some ignition sources. And so it immediately looked like some kind of improvised explosive device. So the officers had to, get out of the house and start clearing the area around it, and contacted our bomb squad. And based on the type of device and just some other things that were found, even the FBI bomb techs were notified, because they want to be involved in those, because sometimes explosives charges and ordinances can be filed in federal court. So I don't know what ultimately ended up getting filed. We ended up getting relieved of our post by another unit, but I know that everything was safely resolved. But that was what the bomb squad call out was for.
Great. Well, thank you for the information, Dan.
Absolutely.
I don't see any hands up for any questions. So, Dan, thanks a lot for being here with us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, Ray. My pleasure.
Okay, take care of yourself out there.
You too. Thanks, Ray. Take care, everyone.
Okay, so we're now at the area of presentations, and this is where we're going to move up the Elections and Bylaws Committee reports, just to help get this report underway. So you want to, Braun, you want to take over, and we'll bring Robertino over.
Sure. So we're in the midst of it. We have our candidates in. So I wanted to make sure that we have everybody has the proper information. So this is going to be a two-step process for voting. The first step is going to be applying for an application in order to get the ballot. This is not when you're applying to get the ballot, you are not submitting a ballot. It is just to get one. There's going to be two ways to get a ballot. The first way, and probably easiest way for most people, is starting April 16th. You can go to the website that Lori has brought up here. This is, if you take a look at the top, go to this page for really any of your election related questions. If you see, it's northwestsanpedro.org/copy-of-2021-NC-elections. That's going to have all the information on it or links to all the information that I'm going to be discussing today. So again, the first step for everybody is going to be to request a ballot. And again, starting April 16th, you can do so here at this link where it's right under here in the middle of the page, Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council. On April 16th, that'll be live and you can get your application for that. You fill it out and you send it in. Another option of doing that is to download the ballot, which can be completed and returned via mail with the application down the next section there. And then a third option, and you can find this on the vote by mail fax, FAQS, which is down at the bottom. You can pick up an application online, or excuse me, an in-life application, complete it and mail it to the city clerk at the Peck Park Community Center located at 560 South Western Avenue. The Assistance League located at 1441 West 8th Street, or the mailroom located at 1840 South Gaffey Street. So you have 3 in-person areas to be able to pick up that application. Once you get it, you are going to have to submit it so you can get your vote by mail ballot. Once you do receive that vote by mail ballot, the last day that an application can be received, this is not mailed, this is received. The last day that it can be received will be June 8th. So plan accordingly. Once you get your ballot, make sure to have it postmarked and sent out with plenty of time to meet that June 8th date. All right. The next item I want to be is we have our candidates are in. So we've got several areas for our at-large representation. There's 3 seats open. We have, looks like 5 applicants for the at-large seat. We've got Gwendolyn Henry, Lori Jacobs, Cynthia Gagne, Rachel Waters, and Angela Sumner. For the Avril area seat, there are 2 seats here. We have Christian Valle, Armando Balderrama, Adrianita Reyes Cruz, and Anelia M. Courtcamp. Hopefully I said that correctly. For the business representative seat, of which there are 2 seats, we have John on the board. I'm fluxing on the name. Sorry, John. Maya Denola, Rock, and those 3. So there'll be two members for the business seat. For the non-governmental organization representative seat, there are 2 seats. We've got John Barbera, Christian Guzman. And then for the Park Western seat, we have 2 seats total for those. We've got applicants Craig Goldfarb, Raymond Regalado, and Dan Dixon. For the school representative seat, we have Kelly Miller, and that is 1 seat total. And for the Taper area, we've got 2 seats total. We've got Victor Christensen and Melanie on the board. So that is it right now for the Vista del Oro seat. We do not have any candidates currently. I believe that we'll be discussing some of that as it is right now. The other information that I did want to give you guys is that the open candidate forum is going to be May 11th at 6:30 p.m. Via Zoom. So we'll get that information out to the candidates who want to participate and to the public. If you want to come ask any questions, the format will likely be a closing statement by all the candidates and questions beforehand to make sure that we give everyone some time to say their piece and then answer questions from the public. So again, the big thing to remember here is it's going to be a two-step process. First, application for the ballot. Send that in. It's available April 16th of it online, or you can have it at those 3 in-person locations. And those ballots, once received, must be received by June 8th.
Ron, really good report. And after listening to you, I will work with Christina on the voting information, and I'll add that third option besides requesting a ballot online or downloading it. I will put the information on the 3 locations where somebody can pick up a ballot.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you. And then on the candidate forum, I just want to mention it's probably only, according to Diana, going to be an 1.5 to 2 hour forum at most. So depending on how many candidates choose to participate, there might not be that much opportunity for stakeholders to ask questions. They might be pre-designed questions that every candidate can equally respond to.
And just a little bit more information, again, going to that website over here, the vote by mail facts. Lori, could you actually scroll down a little bit on the page?
Sure.
All right, down here as well, we have the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council election timeline. If you go to that, it's going to pop up. You're going to have all your dates. Right now, we've passed the candidate withdrawal deadline. The candidate challenges deadline is today. The certified list of candidates will be released on Friday, and that's when the vote by mail application period begins as well, with election day taking place on June 15th, 2021. But again, you have to have your mail-in applications received by June 8th, 2021. And if you go to the FAQ page again, there is information and links to check to make sure that the city clerk has received your ballot on that frequently asked questions page as well.
Okay, Ron, thank you. I see a hand up, Gwen.
Ron, would you explain the changes in the districting? It looks like certain people who had been set up for Vista del Oro are now located in a different district. So I was wondering if you could explain what occurred there. And for example, the vacancies there's nobody going for the seat in Vista del Oro. I actually am a qualified candidate there, but based on 5 or 6 candidates had been listed in there, I chose to compete in a different area, which was at large. So could you elaborate on that?
I actually cannot. This was not something that our committee had anything to do with. It's my understanding that Robertino is going to try and explain what has occurred and how that is going to be remedied. Something that was discovered recently by the committee and, was something that had been done by the city. So I think we're going to find out what happened exactly and what they are going to be doing to remedy that as soon as Robertino is able to speak.
Robertino, would you like to make a comment about that?
So first off, yeah, thank you, Bron, for that presentation. That was great. The information was really good. Yeah, so first off, can everyone hear me okay? Am I good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, all right, so good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. My name is Robertino Salgado, the election administrator for Northwest San Pedro, from the Office of the City Clerk Election Division. And I'm here today to discuss and address the recent situation regarding the 3 candidates that were certified incorrectly. First, I would like to apologize for the error and ensure we are doing everything we can to remedy the situation. So during the candidate certification process, it was brought to our attention after the candidate filing deadline that 3 candidates were certified incorrectly. So what happened is these candidates were certified under the Vista del Oro area, although their qualifying addresses fell in the Averill area. So this error occurred due to the staff responsible for reviewing and certifying the candidate applications being unfamiliar with the areas due to the census tracts. So to provide you some context, in our portal, the map that we were using has the areas listed as the census tracts compared to the current map in the NC bylaws, which has the area names. So what happened is when our staff member was certifying the candidates, they saw that the addresses fell within the NC boundaries and assumed that it was the correct area that candidate selected. This, however, was not the case, as those 3 candidate addresses were located in the Averill area and not the Vista del Oro area, which they selected in their candidate applications. So after we were notified of this issue, we contacted the 3 candidates immediately and informed them of the situation after reviewing their applications. And from there, we switched them to the correct seat at that point. So to remedy the situation, what we're going to be doing is working with Dunn to obtain the correct Northwest San Pedro map that contains the area names instead of those census tract numbers. I was talking to Diana and she mentioned that I think the change happened within the past 2 years. So I think I think the confusion just stemmed from us having the incorrect map and the outdated map. I would also like to address that there was a recommendation that the candidate filing period be extended to allow those who would like to switch seats to do so. Unfortunately, since the candidate filing deadline has passed, that won't be possible. Although I would like to note that after the candidates incorrectly certified for the Vista del Oro seat were switched to the Averill seat, it left the Vista del Oro seats uncontested. So that means that those seats can be filled using the vacancy clause in the bylaws after the election. So yeah, so that's the update regarding the candidates who were certified incorrectly. I'd also like to just provide a couple quick reminders. The certified lists of candidates along with their contact information will be going out this Friday. And that's going to be distributed to the election chairs and the president for outreach purposes. And also this Friday, as Bron mentioned, the vote by mail period begins, which allows voters to request for a ballot using our online portal. If they wanted to submit a paper application, they could have done so already. The online portal opens up this Friday though. And also too, I would like to emphasize as well that it is a 2-step process. So similar to what Bron said. So once you create an account, you're also going to have to request for a ballot and you'll be receiving separate emails after each complete step. And other than that, if you know of anyone that has any questions throughout the process, we have a vote by mail portal video. So pretty much a tutorial that they could refer to on our website. And then also too, yeah, visit the website that Bron provided for the Northwest San Pedro for any election information. And also feel free to give our office a call at 213-978-0444 or send me an email and I'll be happy to assist. So I see a couple raised hands. So yeah, we'll go ahead and take some questions.
Okay.
I guess we'll go with Armando first. I'm not sure if you had your hand raised first, but we'll go with Armando and then Christian and then Lori following that.
I've had it up for a while. I've had my hand up for a while.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's all right. Who is I found this to be a very difficult way of getting a simple voting procedure done. It's really complex. I've used your system. I've gone through your system several times. It's it is not an easy program to function through.
Mhm.
I don't know who put it together, who designed it, but they weren't thinking. A lot of the people here in San Pedro are not computer literate or computer wizards, and they're not going to be able to go through the system like most people think. I have had difficulty in trying to locate simple answers, and I've been working with computers since 1983. And I find this to be a very challenging process to get a simple vote in for somebody that you want in office. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely obscene what people have to go through on this voting procedure. You got to first apply so that you become qualified, certified that you can be able to vote. Then after you do that, then you have to put in the request for the voting form. Then you get the voting form, and then you have to email it back or fax it back or post office mail it back. I mean, there's all these different instructions. It's just quite confusing. It's really poorly thought out. It's really poorly thought out. It's not an easy system to work. And it's going to be very hard for a lot of my neighbors who I've asked them to, I experimented with them. I went to talk to them and they said, this is ridiculous. Why can't we just go vote like we used to? This is insane. And I agree. This is really a stupid way of using technology. It's not using technology to the most beneficial manner. It's really going to be a problem with a lot of voters having to get the mail back voting papers, and then they got to submit their vote again. It's not. What are these people thinking?
So
What are they
Armando,
thinking?
why don't we give Robertino to respond, or Braun might have a comment? to
Yeah,
make?
look,
It's gonna take
listen.
more than 2 minutes sometimes.
No, that's fine. And look, I certainly understand the frustration. All of this is based off the fact that I don't know if everybody noticed, we have been in a pandemic. It has lasted a year. We have had issues with that, and it's nobody knew where we were going to be with this when all this stuff had to be put in place. So, it's really geared towards the safety of the individuals, and I completely understand that. A lot of it up to this point has been computer based, but if you really look at it this way, it's just a two-step process. All you're doing is you're requesting a ballot, and then you fill the ballot out. Just like you do if you voted in California, you register to vote, they send you a ballot, you send it in. So, I know it's difficult to look at it as, look, there's a lot of steps here, but really try and push back a little bit and realize it's not that much different than trying to vote in general, where you're registering to get the ballot and then you fill it out. The ballot is going to be available in person at those 3 locations. I believe they're available now at those locations, or if they're not, they'll be available on Friday. Lori's shaking her head, so they're not there yet. Lori, I imagine they'll be there by Friday, though, when
The ballot application, not the ballot.
Not the ballot. Yes, the ballot application. That is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Ballot application, you fill that out. They'll send you the ballot by mail, and then you can mail that out as well. It's certainly not ideal. It'd be nice if everybody who is registered here would just get to send the ballot, but there's going to be problems with any way we do this. It's based out of the fact that we have a pandemic and everything was kind of up in the air. So we're trying to make it as accessible as possible to everyone. So I understand the frustration. There's a lot there. It's a new system that we're just trying to work out now, and everybody's trying to do their best. So, I think if we could all just try and give everyone a little bit more leniency and respect due to the situation, we'd all be in a better place. And let's try and move to help anybody who has issues with that. I don't think there's any legal issues with, taking ballot applications at one of those locations and giving them to your neighbors. I don't see any reason for that to be an issue. I don't know, Robertino, you were shaking your head. That's not an issue, right?
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, feel free to distribute the paper applications. Again, just make sure that it's done safely and
yeah.
follows like social distancing and the COVID protocols. But again,
Just-
yeah, I mean, if you wanted to provide the paper applications to your neighbors and whatnot, that wouldn't be an issue. And yeah, Braun was spot on in that, again, the vote by mail process, it wasn't our first choice. We were hoping to have this election at the polls, but again, just due to the pandemic, we had to settle with the vote by mail. And I would like to note, Armando, that again, we do have those videos online. So let's say if they wanted to go through the portal, they can watch those. And it is a step-by-step tutorial on how to go about that. And not only that, but if they have any questions, again, feel free to call our office or send me an email and I'll be happy to assist them. And again, on top of that, they also do have the option of getting a paper application as well. So
Robertino, I'd like to add a few things too that possibly could answer some of the concerns that Armando has brought up. Okay, so first of all, I commend our election committee sticking through a very complex situation, and I realize the city clerk had some challenges in front of them, but we put out one newsletter with a call for candidates a couple of months ago, explaining as much as we could on the processes. The outreach committee has continually looked at how we're posting it on the website. When people said it's not clear, we've made changes. Our February board meeting was, we had a 20-minute presentation speaking to this. Unfortunately, Armando wasn't able to attend that meeting. So we did go through the process, but more importantly, we're working very hard to try and get a newsletter out within the next 2 weeks. So for people who are not necessarily digital, online, it's going to have in print how they can follow the instructions. Christina at the mailrooms let me know that she already has the ballot applications at her office, which means it's probably also now at the Assistance League and at Peck Park. I think that we've done everything we can to try and reach as many people as possible, which also brings me to, if any candidates are online and haven't submitted your photo or your statement, we're taking them from there to put in a newsletter that we want to go to print as soon as possible in about 10 days, so that stakeholders have a hard copy, can see who the candidates are, and we're going to really try to spell it out as Braun did. Step one, get your application. And getting your application is also include your eligibility to vote. That's important. It's kind of like what Braun said, you're registering to vote. And by registering, that's triggering a ballot getting sent to you. So it's like a regular election. It's just not like a regular election that we've had in neighborhood councils in the past. So I appreciate everything that Braun said, but I know that outreach and the election committee have done everything we can to take the processes and make it as clear and concise so that every stakeholder is able to vote.
Thank you. Thank you, Lori, for the.
Well, I'm sorry, but you missed the mark. You missed the mark because it's not logical. It's not an easy process.
Armando,
We appreciate the concern, but it doesn't help. And quite frankly, if we avoid one person dying, whatever your political belief systems, then it ends up being worth it. So kill the messenger, fine, but
no, we don't have to get.
Nobody's going to be happy. Nobody's ever happy at these election things. It's always something.
So Chris has his hand up, and then I also see John DeMeglio. So Chris, you want to go ahead? You want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, thank you. Robertino did address, in fact, I would have asked if I thought to ask, that there's a vacancy clause after the election. So if somebody could explain that briefly. And then also, and I may have asked Robertino about this in a different conversation, but does anybody know how and why these lines got redrawn 2 years ago, but we on the board weren't made aware of that?
Let me just jump in, Chris, real quickly. The lines weren't necessarily redrawn. I think part of the confusion is that we had track numbers before, and when Diana changed, well, not Diana personally, but when they were changed from track numbers to an area description, somehow there was some confusion on where the borders were and which track number was equivalent to the new area name. And I think somehow that was part of the confusion, but I believe that the map that we've had on our website all along the borders are correct, and I don't think they were changed. Braun, were they changed?
You're muted, Braun.
When we did the redistricting, the borders themselves were not changed with the exception of one slight road change because there was a border that went right between, basically cut houses in half, I believe it was. And there was a little finger that made more sense. So the changes were minimal. This was all done a year ago. So, you know, again, I don't know what happened. I'm not going to say make excuses or do anything, but the outlines were there. So I don't know where the disconnect was.
Okay, so I guess just my basic question was, have I been on the Vista Del Oro seat for the last 5 years, or was it always April, or what was I elected to the last time I ran?
I don't know.
You were elected to a track.
That's a good answer.
number.
I have those answers. I have those answers.
Okay. Gwen, if you want to answer that question, if you have the answer, and then you can ask your question. Chris, are you through with your inquiries? Gotcha. Okay, great. Gwen, answer your question, and then if you have a question, go ahead and
forgive me, John. I was only going to respond. That's why I had my hand up, is to respond to these questions. Chris, the situation was when, for example, when I went on to submit, the mapped district came up, and then there was an icon as to where your address was within that area, but it wasn't locking you out. So I don't know if everybody had seen that maybe their icon was outside the area that they were submitting. I believe that the error might have been that when you chose, for example, Vista Del Oro, the map that came up did not have the icon because you were someplace else. So you did not know that you were actually outside your area. You didn't see something that would have been able to tell you that you were outside the area. I, on the other hand, chose Vista Del Oro and I saw my icon. But because there were 5 individuals at that particular moment, some apparently did not meet the qualifications, and there were only 3. I chose a different area, but so I think it's a matter of you weren't locked out of the area that you chose. So it allowed you to choose it even though you couldn't, you didn't know that you were outside of it. So, and then the other question, I had a response to that as well. What was the other? I don't know.
Chris, did she answer all your questions?
There was a second.
No, not really. I'm just wondering how I've been in Vista Del Oro since,
Oh, yeah. Well, Chris, well, for example, I was competing in a very local area. It was just my little tract. What they've done is that they've compiled several tracts together into a region. So your little tract, it isn't quite so parceled out in that way. So it's a larger.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
His other question was actually about vacancies. And Chris, that's just handled like a normal empty seat. If somebody leaves a seat in the middle, we put out a call for candidates for, I think it's like 60 days. And then the candidates come to our board meeting and the board votes on filling those vacancies.
Yeah, Chris, you could find that under Article 5, Section 6 of the bylaws if you wanted more detail for that. So,
thank you.
Okay, John DeMaglio.
Hi, my question's for Mr. Salgado only. Can you tell me if I can pick up as many requests for ballots for people that needed to vote Does it matter how many ballots I can get so they can fill it out and make it easier for them?
Sorry, so I just like to just clarify, are you referring to the ballot applications or the actual receiving of the ballots? Because those
Yeah.
would be two different instances. Like, let's say if you were using your mailing address to receive the ballots, that'd be different than distributing the paper applications.
No, just to get the applications for the ballot. Can I get at the different locations? Can I get a bunch of them and distribute it to people and they can send it in?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
cool?
and I'd also like to note that, yeah, so you could get as many of the paper applications as you'd like. We also have it on our website as well, so if you'd like, you could print that over there. We have a PDF version, I believe, so they could fill it out and they could even take a picture, and I could provide you with my work cell phone number, and you could shoot me a text of the paper application. Again, if there's any questions, just feel free to give me a call and we'll work with the voter to get those paper applications or to assist them with the process.
Robert
Okay.
Tino,
Thank you.
I'm a little confused. So like, for instance, there's ballot, already Christina said they're at the mail room. Somebody couldn't go and say, I want your entire stash of those. Aren't those supposed to be for individuals to pick up for themselves? And then if a candidate wants to have more, they should just print them themselves. But we don't want somebody to go to the Assistance League or the mailroom and take all of the available ballot applications. And I don't know how many you've provided. So what, I'm a little
Yeah,
confused.
so I believe they were provided in stacks of 50. I'm gonna have to go check with my colleague who's in charge of distributing that material. But again, yeah, in terms of the paper applications, I'm sorry, was someone talking right?
Last video, ready LA County power outage. Ready.lacounty.gov.
What was that?
Sure.
Someone has some background noise going on there. There's something to do with LA County, so if you can mute yourself.
Everybody's muted.
This is Braun real quick. I unfortunately have to leave. Does anybody have any pending questions for me? I saw that there was one hand.
David Rivera has a hand up.
Oh, let me go ahead and allow him to, where did he go? There he is. Okay, go ahead, David, you can unmute.
David Rivera, unmute yourself.
I clicked ask to unmute.
You may not be paying attention.
Okay.
Okay, with that, again, my apologies. Hopefully I was able to answer as many questions as possible. Check the website, get your application. So.
Thanks, Braun. Good job.
Thanks, Braun.
Thank you, Braun.
Thank you.
John, I see that your hand keeps going up. You have another question or what?
Yes, to Mr. Salgado again. Is there any way that you can provide more applications for the applications for the vote for the, is there any way you can, so it makes it easier for people to grab it and it eliminates the one step for them and it makes it easier for people that aren't computer literate? Can you, and you said 50, can you make it 250?
So in terms of the amount of paper applications, again, we're not encouraging, let's say, a candidate to clear out the whole supply at that location. Again, so just take what you would need, but in terms of, let's say, if a location does run out of paper applications, just let us know and we'll replenish that location with more. Again, since it is Region 12, I mean, I believe we should have a lot of leftover paper applications from the prior regions, but again, yeah, just let us know if you need more paper applications and we'll see what we can provide. Again, it's just going to be based off what we have remaining up to that point. So
thank you.
Robertino, again, I'm still not clear on this. So as a candidate, I could go to the Assistance League and say, give me 20 ballot applications. My idea from the beginning was Diana said those ballot applications were at those locations for stakeholders to vote, not for candidates to come take all the inventory. So I'm just, and you can say you're going to provide more, but I don't know how quickly you can do that. And this could create a little bit of a disparity here.
Yeah, so I would like to note again, it's like the paper applications are available for those who, let's say, are homeless or don't have access to a computer or whatnot. So again, it is for the voters. With that being said, we're not really limiting the paper applications on, like, let's say, who can get one and whatnot. So if a candidate wanted to grab a paper application, they can do so. We wouldn't know. But again, it is for the voters. So with that in mind, the only thing we can really know is the amount of paper applications at that location. If the location is what's it called, is communicating with us. So if they see that it is running low, they could just shoot me an email and I'll let my colleague know, and then we could provide more paper applications. But again,
Can they be copied? Or can the form can be copied?
Yeah, it could be copied. Again, it's just I mean, you could print it out. Yeah, it's the generic paper application that we use for all the NCs. So yeah, it can be copied. Yeah, feel free to make as many copies as you would like.
Okay, I think we've got all our hands taken care of. Let me try David Rivera one more time. David, you can unmute yourself. And if you have a question. David, and you've been moved over as a panelist, so you can, if you have a camera, you might be able to communicate yes or no that you do have a question, because we're not hearing you.
Let's move on.
Okay, it looks like the hand is not up any longer. All right.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Again, yeah, thank you to the election committee and the outreach committee. You guys have been doing a great job. Again, visit their website if you need any information, or our website. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to give our office a call or send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys giving me the time.
All right.
Thanks, Robertino.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John, it looks like your hand is up again. Robertino's left. Braun's gone. I'll give you one last chance to make whatever comment or question that you might have.
That's okay. I had it up before Robertino left and you didn't call me. Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard to navigate all the different people and everything, so we missed you. Apologies.
Kind of pick and choose.
Okay, moving on.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get back to the darn agenda. Sorry, Ray. Okay. I think it's on committee meetings anyway. Let's see.
I think we're there too.
Yeah.
Oh, the consent calendar.
Yes, which is okay, well then I might as well, I should have gone to meeting minutes then. Well, I don't really need to show them because that's all that's on the consent calendar. There you go.
Sorry, that's
Cinnamon.
And I can't get up to go close the door, so I gotta wait for Yolanda to get back.
Okay.
Sorry.
God. Okay, so the only thing on the consent calendar is the approval of the March board and stakeholder minutes.
We need a.
I moved up. Okay, Melanie moved.
Who's seconding?
Second, Gwen Henry.
Thank you.
Any discussion? No discussion.
I would like to say great job by Christian, his first time doing the minutes for us. Much
Yeah.
appreciated.
That's right. Thank you, Christian. Great job.
Good
You're
job.
absolutely right.
Thank you.
So hearing no discussion, Christian, would you like to take the vote count?
My pleasure, Mr. Chair. Rock,
Yes.
Armando.
I think he left.
Okay. John B.
He's there. He's there now.
Okay. Armando, what do you vote on the minutes?
Oh, he's in the other side again.
Okay, we'll come back to him. John B.
Yes.
Mary Chan.
Aye.
Adrianita.
Yes.
Braun left. Did Braun leave?
Yes.
Okay. John D.
Yes.
Dan. Dan Dixon.
Sorry, yes.
Cynthia.
Not here.
Okay. Gwen.
Approve.
Laurie.
Yes.
Melanie.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Alexander Norman.
Yes.
Ray Regalado.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Okay, going back to Armando. Armando.
Yes, I'm here now.
Okay, you're voting yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, it passes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So we're going to go down to committee reports. First one on the agenda list was the executive committee. We did, let's see, we had a meeting just to do our agenda, consider agenda items. So I do not believe we have anything under that. Lori, you want to remind me if we had anything we needed to do here?
Just this usual stuff that's on the screen, about motions and letters, nothing special.
Okay. Bylaws and election committee, we already done. Budget and finance, Melanie?
Okay.
Yes. So
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong one. Okay. Last time I could just do it from here in. I miss Cheryl. Okay. I'm getting there. You could talk, Melanie.
yes, so we had everything's out of committee. So that's good. And the MER, okay, so there's the minutes.
Was it a separate document?
Yeah, just keep going. They're attached. There's 4. It's attached, Lori. They're all attached. Just scroll it. Just go 1.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay, so here's the MER. We paid out, we have commitments of $2,811.72 to the printer, or I mean to the newsletter for the postage and mailing. And then we paid $780 out to Christina. And that was all of our expenses this last time, which leaves us a balance of $16,777.98. This is out of committee, so any discussion? Anyone? Okay,
Yeah.
that being said, call for the vote. Rock?
Yes.
Armando?
Yes.
John Barbera?
Yes.
Mary?
Aye.
Adrianita?
Yes.
On absent. Okay, John DeMaglio?
Yes.
Dan Dixon?
Yes.
Absent. Gwen?
Approve.
Lori?
Yes.
Melanie, yes. Kelly Miller?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
And Christian Valier?
Yes.
Okay, next is the budget, which is just, again, just scroll to the right, Lori.
I'm sorry. I got people texting me while I'm.
Okay, so same thing, the budget, and come down in the $16,777.98. We've got $4,576.29 left in outreach unallocated. And then we'll be distributing in a few minutes the $5,000 for the grants. And that's it. This again is out of committee. So any discussion?
Go ahead.
No discussion. Call for the vote. Rock?
Yes.
Armando?
Yes.
John Barbera?
Yes.
Mary Chan?
Aye.
Adrianita?
Yes.
John DeMeglio? John? Dan Dixon?
Yes.
Gwen?
Approve.
Lori?
Yes.
Melanie, yes. Kelly?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Chris Valier?
Yes.
John DeMeglio?
He's
there?
gone.
Is he gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not in the meeting anymore?
No.
Okay, maybe he had technical problems. Christian, mark him out right now at 7:38 and we'll watch to see if he comes back.
Okay. Next, moving on to the spreadsheet. Okay, so this is the recommended distribution. We have to vote on each one of them. So the first grant that we're recommending is to Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservatory for $500. Any discussion?
For.
Huh?
For.
Who's asking the question?
When?
It's right there.
For $500. PV.
I figured that people who are on the phone, if there's any phone
Says,
people
due to
might
COVID-19,
appreciate.
the third grade naturalist program has undergone massive restructuring. In order to continue to provide educational enrichment and online learning, this grant will provide new instructional materials to students and teachers who are now limited to online participation. So
You have a hand up, Melanie.
$500.
Adrianita, you have a question?
Yeah, I just have a question. Sorry. For grants, does grants mean like donations? Like they don't have to pay back that money, just to clarify?
No, the neighborhood council does, we do what's called neighborhood purpose grants. And they have an outline of what it has to be, a public benefit of money that we distribute. So it has to benefit our community and our stakeholdership and public. Our own neighborhood council sets the amount. We had extra money, so we're doing a second round of $5,000.
That's not her question, Melanie. Her
Yeah.
question, she doesn't understand
Right.
how a grant
But-
works. It is a gift. They
It's
don't
a
give it
gift.
back.
It's a gift, and they have to
Good
show.
question.
Yeah, it is a very good question.
A very good question. It's just, they have to show reason for it and purpose for it and be,
I don't see my name on this list though, so that's just,
and they have to be a 501c3.
Or a school.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah. So call for the vote.
No, you have another hand up, Melanie.
Another hand? I don't see it.
Gwen?
Yeah. Do we not ask for a follow-up anymore?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They
Yeah.
have follow up.
Yeah, that's the one pay thing, is that they follow up with how it was utilized. Thank you very much, and then they, give a report.
Yeah. Just like they did last time when we did it.
Gwen, can I point out that all three of these organizations did request a grant at the earlier distribution. They're all the same groups.
And all very, very well
Yes,
used, especially during this COVID
I'm
time.
gonna call for the vote on this one. Rock,
yes.
Armando,
Yes.
John Barbera,
Yes.
Mary,
Aye.
Adrianita,
Yes.
John DeMaglio, is he still out?
Yes.
Still out.
Is he back or?
No, he's not back.
Okay. Dan Dixon,
Oh, yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Melanie, yes, Kelly,
Yes, sorry, I couldn't unmute.
Ray,
Yes.
and Christian.
Yes.
Okay, the next one is Assistance League of San Pedro. And 100% of grant money goes to purchasing clothing, socks, coats, and shoes for low-income families. Operation School Bell also helps families with school supplies and other items needed that can't be purchased secondhand. We've recommended $2,250 to them. Any discussion?
I see no hands.
No hands? Okay, Rock,
Yes.
Armando. Armando? Okay, we'll come back. John Barbera,
Yes.
Mary Chan,
Aye.
Adrianita,
Yes.
John DeMaglio is still absent. Dan Dixon,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Melanie, yes, Kelly,
Yes, I did have a quick question, Melanie. Since they're just now going back in person, are we gonna be able to allocate funds for them?
Kelly, can we get through with the vote and then we'll
Yep.
come back and answer your
We
question?
can't ask questions during a vote.
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
and Christian.
Yes.
Armando, are you back? Armando?
He's off also. He's
Okay,
gone.
he's out. All righty. Next is.
Well, hold on. Can we quickly answer Kelly's question now that it's not in the middle of the vote?
Kelly,
Yes.
what was your question?
Since the kids are going back to school now, virtual, I mean, not virtual, I mean, in person, hybrid, are we gonna be able to do Operation School Bell for them now? Because now this is now when the kids are gonna need shoes and stuff. Usually, it's usually offered in the beginning of the school year. Are they gonna offer us a chance now?
John Barbera, you want to answer that one?
Hey, I'm sorry, say it again, Kelly?
They're gonna offer Operation School Bell now that we're going back, so because the kids are now is when the kids are gonna need shoes and stuff.
We're gonna start Operation School Bell probably the end of August. Before, they do it always a few weeks before school starts.
Okay, yeah, because we're starting now. I mean, we're starting school, today and next week for this year.
Yeah, but well, we still don't have, we don't have the okay yet to do it
Okay.
because of the COVID. They're not letting us do it right now, but we're gathering up the monies for it so that I think August 18th or 17th, when that second or third weekend of August, then we're gonna start. I'll know more tomorrow, Kelly, and I'll let you know because our meeting's tomorrow at 10 o'clock, our
Right,
board
and
meeting.
also, according to the grant application that we received, they combined it into two things. That's why I listed about grant money for purchasing clothing, socks, and coats and shoes. They asked for money, two separate things, Operation School Bell and money for kids that are needy as on the surge of going back to school for the low income COVID hit children. So they're going to
Right.
be doing two different things.
Okay.
Right, what they'll do is they've got a thing where we have that little parking structure right next to the gift shop where people can park. They'll come drive by and we can hand them the stuff that they request.
Perfect. I just want to know, because when the kids come back, we'll really know who's in need, and we won't know until they're back in school.
Yeah, we'll be in a new fiscal year and we'll be doing neighborhood purpose grants again. But our minute taker has his hand up.
Christian?
Christian, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I saw Armando in the attendee list, but I don't know if you moved him over
I already saw him. He's already back in panelist, but thanks,
Okay.
Christian.
So that being said, any more questions? This is again out of committee, so well, moving on to, no, we're at San Pedro Meals on Wheels. We already voted on that one. So San Pedro Meals on Wheels is our third one, and it's $22.50. And in response to COVID-19, They have been providing meals to seniors and disabled for free of charge Monday through Friday. They're adding additional people daily based on high demand for those housebound. They have increased like triplicate the amount of people that they're bringing food to. So they have even helped families that have COVID, making sure they eat and stuff. So that's pretty awesome. Any questions? This is out of committee, and we've proposed $22.50 for them. I don't see any hands. So Rock?
Yes.
Armando?
Yes.
John Barbara?
Yes.
Mary Chan?
Aye.
Adrianita?
Yes.
John DeMaglio is still gone. Yep. Dan Dixon?
Yes.
Gwen?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Melanie, yes. Kelly?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
And Chris?
Yes.
Alrighty, and that is it. And we'll get these distributed.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for all the work you guys are doing on this. Next on the agenda?
I got to get back to the agenda. Okay. That's not where I want to go.
It's issues, I think.
No. Oh, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
community.
Okay, well, then let Dan talk while I kind of get back to where we're supposed to be. Let's see.
Not much material to vamp with tonight, Lori. It'll be short and sweet.
Okay.
All right. Oh, of course. Helps to have my agenda here. Thank you. This is just a brief update on a couple of things.
Yes.
Some of us on the committee are working on information and the next steps and best practices on the train horn issue in the harbor area. That is ongoing. And we're talking to some people and gathering info for you folks for later. It'll be on our agenda at the next meeting. Also, we are talking about the imminent, not necessarily imminent, but the arrival of a green infirmary. What? I'm sorry. What's the name?
Hothouse.
Yeah. Okay.
Dispensary.
One of the. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. The dispensary on Gaffey Street, coming to a street near us very soon. We are working through the rules, the rules that the city and state have established for allowing these businesses to operate. And our committee wanted to have our I's dotted and T's crossed before we came back to you folks with any recommendation. It's very likely there won't be a recommendation one way or the other, as it is presumably a legal business, but they do have hurdles to jump over and stuff to accomplish, and we'll keep you up to date on that as it occurs. I'm not, well, it's a legal business, so I guess I shall say no more about it at this point, but we'll be back to you on where they stand at the next meeting. Thank you. That's it for now.
Okay, I have two hands raised, Gwen and Melanie. Gwen, you want to ask your question?
Yeah. Hi, Dan. It was actually two things. Hopefully you can reach out to me. There's a constituent who has an issue that resides in Peck Park, and I'm hoping you'll be able to reach out to me. But in regards to the dispensary, right here on Bandini and First is a dispensary, and a woman was shot. Woman was shot at that dispensary. It's been quite the disturbance. I hope that you guys have it on your radar, and if there's anything that can be done about that. Safety-wise, there's a problem.
That's first in Bandini.
First in Bandini, yes.
Okay.
It was a gas a repair place. It was
It's the
Dave's
numero
place?
uno parking lot.
Yes, but it was Dave's place, and now it's a drive-through dispensary, and it's just been a lot. Officer Dan may be able to discuss some of those issues.
We'll be in touch with them. Thank you. That's great. By the way, if it's a drive-through, perhaps they can get inoculated and also pick up their application for a voting ballot for a neighborhood council. Make it a one-stop deal.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Good place to get a joint and a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Thank you. Did you have another
Okay,
question? Rhonda? Was that it?
Melanie, we have another question.
Yeah, kind of on the same thing that Gwen said. My biggest thing is too, if they absolutely positively insist on having it as a public safety person, I would recommend they have to have security all the time there and cameras.
That's
Can
one
I
of the
remind you guys that this is not on the agenda, so we shouldn't really be discussing the topic until
I'm pretty much against it though, because
again,
right
it's
by-
not on the agenda. Point of order.
You can go ahead and make her comment. We just have nothing.
I'm against it only because of Harbor Highlands being there, and I know exactly where they want to go on Battery, right?
Okay.
We are looking at all these from the usual standpoints that you might imagine as neighbors of this place, and also pushing up against the legal requirements that the city has, and also the potential crime problems. So we are working on that. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Okay, Dan, that's it, I guess. For your
That's
report?
it. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Dan. Okay, planning and land use.
Diana's not here. I
Diana's
thought
not here.
maybe Jason would be here, but I don't see Jason, her co-chair here. So whatever report she has, it's in the packet. So
I don't think there's anything to report. There is a meeting coming up Wednesday.
Okay. Thank you,
Great, thank you.
Rock.
Public safety, Melanie?
Nothing to report other than, Dan talked, we didn't have a meeting because I was sick from my COVID shot. And so, but I'm going to CPAB this Thursday, and then we'll have our meeting this month and cover a couple of the things that we need to cover.
Okay.
And I'm glad to hear what Dan said, that my video caught the guy that did the graffiti of the gang graffiti out here at the park. So
Excellent work.
yay.
Okay, next would be sustainability. Gwen?
Okay, so I hope everybody was able to look at the minutes and look at the materials. We have two different items to vote on. The first thing would be a CIS and a resolution. You guys have already visited this 2 other times. It's been voted on every single year. And it's the first time it never, anyway, it's council file, sorry guys. It's council file 21002 S33. That's what's on file for the city of Los Angeles. And what they have done is created a resolution in support of the State Assembly Bill, AB 78. That's its current incarnation. And it's requesting to expand the jurisdiction of the San Gabriel and Lower Los Angeles Rivers and Mountains Conservancy. That's a funding source. That's a group that improves the river area. So they're requesting funding to include the Dominguez Channel watershed and Santa Catalina Island. And for those who are not familiar with it, this is the resolution that the city of Los Angeles has. Thank you, Lori. The mapped area is also in the file if you guys want to go to our agenda items. This is the area, and if you go all the way down to the bottom, you can see that a good portion of it is CD 15. All of San Pedro, Wilmington, Harbor City will benefit from this. Essentially what it's doing, once again, is this is the red line there is the Dominguez Channel. That's a river. That's basically a river. And it goes through a series of wetlands, including Madrona Marsh, and there's some other wetlands up above. There's a watershed area that's up by the mountains.
Gwen, can you like maybe a little bit away from your microphone because we're getting a little feedback.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Okay, thanks.
Is that better?
Yes.
Oh,
Thanks.
wow.
Sorry
Okay.
to interrupt you.
No, thanks. Anyway, so for years now, the mountains area has been funded. The lower area within Los Angeles has been funded, and this is the final component to create a naturalized river. By funding this will allow steelhead trout to return up the river, as well as potentially coho salmon. But it's to restore the area, and of course we have a lot of communities in the harbor area that would benefit from outdoor space and a revitalization of the river area. It's also an opportunity to expand on the biodiversity of Los Angeles, meaning that if there's river, if the river is allowed to naturalize, it'll bring birds back. Migratory birds will have a place to stay again, that kind of thing. Anyway, so you guys have already approved it twice. This is the third shot. The first time it never moved out of committee, and then last year, of course, COVID happened, so they had shelved everything. So this is our opportunity, and we want to vote on this to let the committee, the state committee, know that we're interested in this. So it's up for the vote. It came through committee.
Discussion? I don't see any hands as far as discussion is concerned. Wait, I see Dan Dixon. Dan?
Sorry, that's an error. I'll take my hand down.
All right, Dan, you just put your hand up. Let me lower it for you. I'll lower your hand for you, Dan.
Keep your hand to
Now
yourself.
lowered. Okay, no, it appears that there are no questions to be asked. You want to, Christian, would you like to take the vote count?
Yes. Brock.
Yes.
Armando.
He's disappeared again. Hold on. Let me see if he's.
Okay. We'll come back to him.
Yeah, he got
John
moved.
B.
Yes, brother.
Mary.
Being on the committee, double yay.
Adrianita.
Yes.
Braun. Oh, Braun's gone. John D.
He's gone too.
Dan.
Yes.
Gwen.
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Melanie.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Alexander Norman.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Armando.
Yes.
Okay, it passes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Gwen, next one.
Okay, this one is Patrick O'Donnell created a state joint resolution. So he's asking for, he's an assembly person, so it's the assembly and the Senate. It's a joint resolution that will be submitted to both. And the request will go to the federal government. This is about the deteriorating barrels of DDT out there. I'm sure everybody knows about that. Big surprise, they've been decaying, they've been rediscovered, and the contaminants are enormous. So if you, once again, if you go to the committee meeting report, I have 3 links on there that give full information about it.
Did you need me to go to that on here?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm just telling everybody if they want to know everything about it, those 3 links will provide quite a bit of information. Now, Patrick O'Donnell's state joint resolution is AJR2, and he's requested the federal funding in order to clean this up, essentially. Now, the problem is that the city of Los Angeles has not submitted a council file on this yet. The state joint resolution was filed in December, and it's a bit surprising that LA hasn't spoken up supporting this. So what we're doing is we're filing, or should you vote on this, we would file a resolution requesting that the city of Los Angeles support this resolution and put it on their legislative calendar. So what we're requesting is for them to create a council file and to support it. So that's what the juncture we are at right now. And this again was voted in committee and was unanimous. So this is time sensitive because the assembly committee that's going to be hearing this will be on April 21st. We want to have something on there.
Is there a copy of the letter of support, or?
Yes. Yes. Well, no. Once again, there is no, what we have here, our whereas, Lori has it right here. This is our resolution to the city of Los Angeles, requesting that they add it to their legislative calendar and to support it. So, but once again, the city of Los Angeles has not yet voiced their opinion on it. But this is going before a committee, a state committee, on April 21st.
Maybe I'm seeing the wrong thing, but I do not see anything that identifies Assembly Bill or AJR.
Lori, you got the wrong one up.
Okay.
It's AJR2. Okay, that's the original resolution by Patrick. No?
You have a lot of files, so it's
I know it's a bit difficult. The file name, it says AJR on it.
okay, hold on. I'm going through everything that you put in there.
Okay, one more. Minutes, and then?
No.
I
That's
think
your
just go
report.
back.
That's your report.
I don't know how you don't have
Okay,
it.
hold
on. I gotta go to the.
Well, is it in our packet that's on our website? Did you see it there?
Yeah, I thought I did, and I'm a little.
Because I just clicked on everything that's in the packet.
I'm looking right now. If you can hold on. It was just there.
Is this not? This is it. I had this on the screen. This is it.
No, that's
This is
That's
it.
the actual Assembly Bill coming out of Sacramento.
that's his resolution. Just give me a moment.
Lori and Ray, while Gwen is looking, may I just say that this case is so egregious and enormous, it spans decades and decades.
Yeah.
The original DDT dump was through our county tunnels that exit at White Point. 1,700 tons of DDT dropped into the channel right off of White Point, and that accumulated in the Palos Verdes area. But
Okay,
this
I
is
don't,
now,
I don't know. These must
these
be
are
out of
now-
order when they were submitted or something. I don't know.
No, they weren't.
this
Okay.
issue is now about barrels that were dumped closer to Catalina. Interestingly, the city has very little skin in this game, except where it ejected into the sea at White Point with the original unbarreled material. It's a very strange and horrifying case. It's our closest thing we have to a Superfund site on the coast of Los Angeles County. There are plenty inland, but this one's right in the sea, and it's very troubling.
Well, before I elaborate on that, on Dan's comment, Lori, it's 8G-II_B. It's right there. Underscore
I'm sorry.
B.
I got to tell you, the effects of my vaccine are me. It's 8G, which one? 8G
dash II_B.
That looks like it.
There you go.
That one.
Is that
Okay.
it? Can you see it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Essentially, I've replicated the wording in the original state resolution, but I've added the whereas at the very beginning, for example, to say that we, the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council, we live, work, and play right above this area of toxicity.
Can
And
we see the therefores?
it's down below. It's a be it resolved.
You gotta scroll down. So it's,
No, it's right there. Be it resolved. It's not a therefore.
Should it be a therefore be it resolved?
No. I'm not suggesting.
Okay.
I just said that instead of the other. Sorry.
Yeah. So essentially, we're saying it's important to us. Be it resolved, the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council requests City Councilman Joe Buscaino, because it's his district is most impacted, and the Los Angeles City Council approve a position of support for a State Assembly Joint Resolution AJR2 and place it on the city's 2021 state legislative platform.
Is that enough information for everybody to vote on?
Oh, well, I did want to mention something with Dan. He had mentioned that this has been going on for decades. What happened was that the company, the Montrose Chemical Corporation, or whoever, Montrose, they're in Torrance. They had been dumping DDT through the sewers, as Dan had explained, for a very long time, and they had been. It was a major lawsuit, and there was a huge demand for millions and millions and millions of dollars for remediation in order to clean that up. Unfortunately, they did not add barrels that had been dumped into the middle of the channel there that are now being discovered completely rusted out and leaking. And this is probably a more toxic situation. If you go to the links in my minutes, there's a scientific report that really talks about it. The stuff in the barrels is more of a mishmash and it's a mess, but there's millions and millions of barrels, and they're still using underwater cameras, in order to target them all and GPS them and identify where they are. They were just tossed out there. There's no identification of it. It's a mess. So that original lawsuit did not supply funding to clean this up. So now we have to ask the federal government to help with this, and the EPA. So that's what this is about.
Okay, so this is out of commission, out of
Committee.
committee.
Mhm.
So is there any discussion on this? I think it's a very worthwhile piece of legislation. I read up on this.
I just have one question, Gwen. Why
Yeah.
would anybody vote against this?
Well, the bewildering thing is that the city of Los Angeles has not voiced anything. They have not picked up on this, and they haven't.
That's not my question. Why would anybody vote against it?
Well, for example, the Rivers Conservancy issue never even got out of committee. They essentially ignored it. I'm not sure why they would ignore it, but it needs to be addressed. And
Okay, okay. I don't want
It's
to
just
start a whole long
don't.
discussion. I was just trying to figure out who would be against
stuff happens.
All right. If you're okay with it, can we take a vote? I think this is a worthwhile effort. So, Mary, did I see your hand up, by the way? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're muted.
Mary, you're muted.
Being on committee on Gwen on this, it sounds like a disaster really for all the oceans and then of course all the water drifts back to the land. So, and to answer Lori's questions, we don't know I guess that depends on who's going to say no and what their reasoning is to vote no.
Okay.
Thank you. So if it's okay, can I ask Christian to take the vote count?
Brock,
Yes.
Armando. Armando.
He's just
John B.
Yep.
Mary.
Yay.
Adrianita.
Sorry, yes.
Dan.
Sorry.
Dan,
Yes.
Dan Dixon. Okay, yes. Gwen.
Yay.
Laurie.
yes.
Melanie.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Alexander Norman.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Armando, coming back to you.
He seems to have dropped out of the meeting. Let me just see if he's an attendee. No, I do not see him.
Okay, all present voted yes.
Yes, thank you.
And Gwen, you really got a sound issue there, so you got to look into that. That's
A lot of feedback.
It's really raspy. It's not even
All right.
feedback. It's just.
Yeah, it's like when you overload the speakers is what it's sounding like. You got
Look
too
in your
much
Zoom.
volume.
Look in your Zoom controls, and you can lower the input level.
Well, it's also, I normally don't have it off of the camera, so I'll switch it back.
Okay, is that the end of, oh, by the way, is there some place out there that has all the people that this thing needs to go to, Gwen?
Yes, it does. Yeah, I talked with Christina. I talked with Christina regarding this earlier today.
Okay, so you know the situation, the problem she's having with that.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, let's move on then.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Glenn.
Are you going to outreach? Ray?
Yes, are they the
Okay.
next one in line?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, outreach.
Okay, so just to let everyone know, we were not able to actually hold our outreach meeting. So this letter will need to have a motion and a second. And this is submitted by Chris. And it's basically a letter to LAUSD with some concerns regarding a charter school that's opening in the harbor community. It's KIPP, and they're asking to take over the campus that was vacated by the previous charter school of Baxter over there on Pacific and I think 8th or 9th. Yeah. So Chris, I'm going to just turn it over to you to go ahead and explain.
Okay, and I do believe we have people who've come in to also speak on this. So I'm going to try and keep it brief, maybe circle back, because I know that we have teachers and union members who've come and they really do know more and better about this than I do. But in short, KIP is a network, and it's basically nationwide, of charter schools. And charter school, in brief, for those who don't know, is a private school that operates with public money. So I like to call them the Blackwater of education, whereas they take over a function normally provided by the government and they use public funds, but they are generally not held to the same regulatory and organizational standards. So they are chartered, that is, they have a contract with the government to provide educational services, and they are free of charge to the public, but they don't follow the same rules with regard to a lot of things that public schools do. And so there's, you can spend as much time as you'd like researching it, and I would recommend that you do that. But in short, KIP is an organization, again, who sort of involves and represents charter school interests, some who are for profit, some who are nonprofit, and they go into school districts and trying to find a location such as the old Baxter and set up shop. And our school board and LAUSD has the option to either grant a charter or a permit, or to deny one, such as Long Beach does as well. We have 4 of our 7 board members whose campaigns and subsequent elections were heavily financed by the charter industries. It's all a matter of public record. And so what we have is a voting majority who really supports charter inclusion, and we have a significant number of charters in LAUSD. In the last couple of years, there have been a couple of furtive or more substantial efforts to put charter schools in the harbor area. And the community has organized in the past to oppose that. In short, this is a school that was proposed for a different area earlier, was rejected there, and somehow through whatever their machinations are, this ended up in San Pedro, targeted at San Pedro because there was literally an empty space for it, not because there's a particular need, which people will speak to, or because anyone in the community requested it, but they saw an opening and and are going for it. But it, as other people will explain, it dilutes and diverts public resources into an organization that doesn't have to follow the rules of other public schools. So in short, whatever your views on public education and its problems are, I would suggest that there are other alternatives to support public education besides abdicating our responsibility and giving it to a private interest. But we can have a further discussion of that with the other speaker or the other commenters. So in general, our letter is asking, it's essentially challenging that the concerned parties reevaluate, the permit, and and not so much, I'm sorry, not exclusively this particular school, but that we set a tone that they simply not just dump any charter that can't find anywhere else to live. They don't just send to San Pedro because we're the last stop on the train, I guess. That's not something our community asked for. And, we're trying to kick it back upstairs and tell them, that there's other places, that there's other ways to support public education that they really should be putting their resources into. So if anybody else would like to speak, please say.
Okay, so let's say, okay,
you want to call on
the
people, Ray?
explanation. We're going to need a motion and a second to have discussion.
I motion that we have discussion.
I'll second it, Gwen Henry.
Okay, Kelly
Wait,
first.
we don't
Gwen
motion.
second.
We don't motion for a discussion. We motion to consider the letter, right?
So that, no, I'm saying so that we can move to the discussion
Right,
because
right.
we have hands up.
Okay, but so Kelly.
Point of
moved.
information, Mr. Chair, who was the mover? Was that Melanie?
No, I think it was Kelly Miller.
Kelly, okay, Kelly, and then Gwen was the second?
And I don't know how to raise my
Correct.
hand.
Okay, so Kelly, do you have a comment you'd like to make?
Yes, actually, as a teacher in LA Unified and as a representative for our union, we've been fighting a lot of charter schools because they're very detrimental to our schools. Heavily impacts our schools in the area. It they take away from our gate programs. And then they also discriminate against our children of color. They discriminate against special education. They kind of try to come in and pick the top of the crops in each school, and they don't offer anything for the kids or anything extra to it. Basically, they just drain from our system. They're run under our SELPA. They half the charter schools that we've had in LA Unified have refused to pay the fees that they're supposed to pay towards our schools to give back to our SELPA is our legal representation. And so it's really hard. We're really fighting it. San Pedro doesn't need this. We have a really good core set of schools that have a really good programs, and this would just drain from our programs and drain from our kids. KIPP has had a lot of problems in a lot of their areas. They have a high turnover of teachers. They don't protect their teachers. They don't train their teachers. They get young teachers in, they have them do their thing, and then if they try to deviate or call attention to something not going right within the programming, they get fired instantly. I know of people who have been fired for calling them out on fraudulent in funds. Just recently, one of the charter schools come to find out the principal was the one stealing they had people breaking into the schools and taking equipment, and it turned out it was the principal. And
was this a KIPP school?
I'm not sure if it was a KIPP. It was another charter school.
Okay.
So we've had the same issues along the lines. It's just KIPP is the latest. The last ones were, there's just every couple of years they change names. Same people change names. Change their and it's funny when you go and you look at their list of the people who contribute to them and everything, it's always the same people. They get busted on something and they have to close, and then it comes up another name and it's the same people who are I was going to pull up a bunch of stuff. I can give you a bunch of articles and stuff. I read all the detrimental things about charter schools, and I'm a special ed teacher. Okay, so that's my heart. If you can't take care of the kids who need you the most and you refuse those to your schools, I'm sorry. That's the worst discrimination I can find in a school. And that's one of my biggest issues. And then to steal from my SELPA, our legal representation and all the things that we need to help our schools, you utilize our services, but you don't fund it back is really frustrating to me. And I could go on and on about it, but I can give you plenty of background and information and stuff, and I can get that together for you.
Thank you, Kelly. I have 3 hands up from the attendees.
Yeah, I was going to suggest we go to the attendees first. They have waited through this whole meeting. So if that's okay with you, Ray.
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
Let's start off with Shadra Stewart.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. I'm one of 13 gifted magnet schools in the San Pedro area. I'm a teacher and a UTLA representative at Park Western University. Sorry, not University, Park Western Elementary. And we have a lot of awesome opportunities for our students. We have a restorative justice program. We have a college going culture with teachers wearing their college shirts on Wednesdays, and the students are encouraged to do the same. We have an Art to Grow On program, field trips, Science Olympiad, which we've won so many years in a row. And we have so many opportunities for our kids, and to have kids be quartered away without having those same opportunities at a charter school would be really devastating to our program. To lose funding for all the things that work so well in our community would really be devastating for us. So we don't really need a charter school in our area because we give some of the best enrichment services and some of the highest rigor, and we don't need someone coming and taking that away and promising that they're going to give the rigor and give the enrichment when they're really not. So I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Shadra. Vic Christensen.
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Okay, because I know sometimes it's hard to hear from where my mic is. Two things. One, with charter schools in particular, there are pros and cons, and it's more of, you really have to look at each one on a case-by-case basis. And I'm not going to go any further than that because, as Kelly said, you could get into a long, drawn-out discussion on both sides. But I think in particular, this letter is good near the bottom where it rightly asks, you know, provide us with explicit information about how it would benefit the community. So I would support the letter based on that alone, because, you know, anytime somebody wants to come in and put a school somewhere, they need to justify why it would benefit the community where they want to put it. That's all for me.
Thank you, Vic. Hey, Lori, can you move Armando over? I see his hand up, so if he has a question, we'll get to him after we talk to Jan McCaffrey. Or that's Jan, I'm sorry, Jan McCaffrey.
It's okay. Hi, I'm Jen McAfee. I teach at Dotson Middle School. I've been teaching there for 22 years. I went to school there. I've lived in San Pedro for 46 years. I'm a strong public school advocate. I'm also a UTLA member. I'm also on the UTLA Board of Directors. Thank you for everyone who's already spoken in support of the letter and giving some background about our concerns around KIPP. And so I know that Chris and Kelly and others have already spoken about the privatization, but I really do want to highlight, is this school even necessary in our community? As the letter's asking, do we need this school? We have several magnet schools in San Pedro, elementary through high school, that offer all kinds of variety as far as a gifted school, STEAM magnets, performing arts, just to name a few. We do have a lot of different programs and variety that get kids prepared for the future. This is a school, a business that wants to come into our community and take over a place that actually was another charter school run by Alliance that is no longer around. So clearly there was not a need for that school. And I don't really think that there's a need for this charter school. If you look at all the things that they would like to offer, I think that you could find all of those things throughout our entire community already. Some other things that are concerning to me are also that when you have charter schools, and we've been virtually untouched here in San Pedro and for most of the harbor area. But once they see an opening in a door, then more will come. And they won't care if they only are around for a little while. They're a business and then they'll leave just like Baxter did and hope that someone else will come in and take that place. I would hate to see our local public schools lose students and lose money for a charter school that really is not needed, in my opinion, in this community. I would rather see that our community gathers around and supports the schools that we already have existing. Help fight for more funding for our schools so that we can do things like have community schools that have wraparound services, so that we can make sure we have enough counselors for our students, so we can make sure that we have everything necessary from leaving a pandemic, hopefully, and going into our schools 100% and being able to support all of our students and families. I don't believe that an outside source that was planning to open up in another city in Gardena, which is totally different than San Pedro in many ways, really knows how to understand and reach our community and work with our community the same way that all of our schools and all of our educators here in San Pedro are already doing. And then just a couple other small things are, I also am really concerned about the location of it, that Baxter was a high school and now this will be an elementary school. The location of 9th and Pacific and the amount of traffic that is there, people dropping their kids off, I think will create even more unnecessary congestion, and even kids just walking to and from school if they are in the area and can do so. I just don't know if it's a great fit, just even safety wise. And then finally, actually two more things. When they open up as an elementary, it makes me concerned if then they will then try to open up middle schools and high schools also. And I hate to see numbers drawn from our already existing schools that are already doing so many great things for our community. So I hope that you will support our concerns and fight against KIPP at this time, and that you will continue to support our public schools and also the labor involved with our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, let's go to, I see Melanie and Gwen with their hands up.
Mine's real quick. I just wanted to say that one thing that nobody said yet either, kind of the roundabout way they have. One thing to remember about charter schools too, public schools run on our taxpayer money, and there's no profit gained from it. Charter schools run on our money, also taxpayer money. They get publicly funded, but then they're a for-profit school. They make a profit and they gain a profit. They are specifically there to make a profit, a charter school. Public schools do not. And if they have a school and you lose enrollment from the other schools, every school in San Pedro gets paid for how many school kids are enrolled in their school. Once those kids are withdrawn and put into a charter school, you lose all that funding. So down goes your art programs, down goes your gifted programs, down goes your special ed funding. All of that goes away because you have a charter school here taking money from that funding, from the funding for education. It goes to them, and then they increase a profit and fill their stockholders' money pockets.
Thank you, Melanie. Gwen, you're up.
Well, first I had a question. The Ann Baxter, the Alliance Ann Baxter, did that fold because of COVID? Or
we don't know why.
Okay. From what I understand, I've been reading different articles that a lot of these for-profit schools end up folding, and the disruption, even in the middle of the year, middle of a school year, the disruption to children's education it's profound. They've actually made studies about this. I'm wondering if there's any history with KIPP as far as these closures, even if it's during the summer, but you know, they do happen in the middle of the year or just at the very beginning of the year. I do remember that there were a series of charter schools that had shut down just before this last school year started. So I'm wondering if there's any data on that in regards to KIPP.
Well, it's a gigantic network of schools and businesses. So like any private business, if and when they decide not to be in business anymore, they don't have to tell you why. You know,
Yeah.
they might have to explain it to the IRS, but
They-
you know, unlike a public,
They walk away. Yeah.
They walk away when they feel like it.
And in regards to that, I was kind of alarmed over in Harbor City, right at the edge of our district, the North Palos Verdes. There was an assurance school there. Very weird. Assurance schools get a very poor rating, and they had created one right there, and they are closed and they are shut down. So any child that might have been with that, I was very alarmed when I saw that one open.
Thank you. Kelly, I see your hand up. You want to say something? And then we're gonna have to take a vote on this.
Okay. The other thing I forgot about is this school, KIPP refused to do a community safety report. I think that's what the report they refused to find out to have one done. And I found that really scary because, like as Jen said, the traffic patterns, the location of the school, the fact that they want K-8 in it's a very, very confined area right there on 9th Street where the old bowling alley was and where Baxter was, but they refused to do the safety report. And that was the first alarm bell too, for safety reasons. We need to have that. Traffic patterns in San Pedro and all of that needs to be taken into account.
Okay. Thank you, Kelly.
Can we call for the vote? We've had.
Well, okay.
It's getting
I'm
pretty
seeing
late
that
in the
Chris,
evening.
Vic, is your hand up for a particular reason? We really need to move on.
Yeah, yes, it is up. I didn't forget to put it down. Just not on the content, but the recipients. I just forgot to mention that I think it should also be going to the LAUSD Board President, Kelly Gonez, the LAUSD Superintendent, Austin Butner, and the San Pedro Community of Schools Administrator, Lou Martisich. So I would just recommend you add those 3 to the CC list.
Thank you for the suggestion. Okay, so let's take the vote now. Christian, would you be so kind?
Yes, Rock.
Abstain.
Armando.
Yes.
John B.
Yes.
Mary.
Definitely.
Adrianita.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Gwen.
Yes.
Laurie.
Very passionate, yes.
Melanie.
Definitely yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Kelly, can I interject?
We're in the middle of a
We're
vote here,
voting.
please. Can we just finish up?
Conflict of interest?
It's not a conflict of interest.
Come on.
Kelly,
Alexander Norman.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Ray, just do you think this is a conflict of interest because Kelly's a teacher? It's got nothing to do with the school that she is at. It's not even near school.
You know, I
don't
can't
think
say that personally, I don't see it as a conflict of interest being just because she's a teacher. I mean, we all share ourselves in different ways. So, you know, it's
Yeah, I'm a parent of a student, so theoretically there could be a conflict of interest. Everybody's tied to it because it's a public school. So
it's not her school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
In that case, it passed with 1 abstention.
Okay, real good. Thank you all. I really appreciate the passion in this particular area here. So thank you so much for all that, all of you. So where are we now?
We're on liaison reports.
The liaison reports, okay.
Yeah. Okay, I obviously won't read through this whole thing. Hopefully you guys do look at this. Homelessness, you know, we all know how important this is. We're at a crisis level. The one thing I want to always reiterate, if you see something where you feel somebody needs help, you see a homeless person, the first course of action, unless it's a dangerous situation, is to enter the information in the LA HOP portal. That will generate a call to outreach workers to try and address the issue. If it is a dangerous situation, do not put yourself in between. Call 911 if it's that kind of thing. But meanwhile, I hate this thing. Anyway, I'm just going to stop sharing and just tell you that the safe parking opened up in San Pedro. I'm not sure. I think they have had about 10 cars there. They can handle 25. And you can read the report for the rest of the information on homelessness. And we didn't have any other liaison reports, Ray, and we didn't have a Hank or a Bonk report, unless you'd like to. Say
You
something.
skipped the Christensen Science Center.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, just let me.
I'm
Just say
sorry,
quickly,
Dan.
Because
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 go to
I was
bed.
unable to attend a Hank or a bonk meeting because of my surgery. So sorry about that.
So yeah, can we go back to Christensen? I'm
So
sorry.
we'll go back to
I'm
Christensen
saying
Center.
it's Pfizer's fault. Okay, I'm sorry.
And we're coming up against real close to 8:45, which I really would like to.
Well, this is the last thing here. So and I don't think
who's
there's
going to be making the. Well, I think the
Chris.
negative wasn't here. So Chris.
Yeah. In short, the conversation recently has been about the design features of the mural for the Science Center. Again, as with the rest of the district, all the instruction is shut down. The site is still being maintained, but the mural's been sort of the latest thing, and we've been going back and forth with our preferences and suggestions for the administration and the artist, who is, I guess, and so I think Victor could probably let us know where we are from his perspective in the conversation. But basically, we're taking some good looks at the mural designs and hoping and waiting for some, actual feet on campus sooner than later.
Okay. There's two hands up, one from Armando, one from Vic. So since Vic has been pretty good about with information, I'm going to let Vic go, and then Armando, you're up next.
Yeah, what Chris said pretty much covers it about the mural. There's not a whole lot of new information. We were given the sketches that the artist put together, and we're looking at those. As Chris said, feedback's gone back and forth. We haven't had a group meeting to discuss the sketches yet, so we're waiting for LAUSD to schedule a meeting for that. And then the only other thing I can really think of for the Science Center is, and Christian Guzman may want to chime in a little bit with a brief description of what Feed and Be Fed's doing. I know they built some more planter boxes and are getting those ready. Last time I was down there over the weekend, they had them all filled, but I don't think anything's been planted yet. But I'll let Christian go into any detail he would want to about that. And that's all I have.
Christian, do you have something very brief that you'd like to say about that?
Sure, Dan was correct. We doubled our capacity. Feed and Be Fed doubled its capacity, and we started to plant summer fruits and vegetables. So tomatoes and squash, and we will plant more.
Thank you, Christian. Armando,
Yes,
you're the last hand I see up, so you're going to be able to have the last word. So please make it pleasant, diplomatic, and concise.
Okay. There we go. I'll give it a try. This is regarding the homeless situation.
Okay.
I'm concerned that there's an outreach group that's they're dealing with $300 million they received, HASA. And we have other outreach groups out here in San Pedro that are running out of funds and they have to ask for more funds. I really feel that we should get involved and find out what La Hasa is doing with all that money. And can we break it up into giving it to some of the outreach groups out here in San Pedro that could use the money? $300 million they got last year, 300 million. And they didn't do nothing for 12 months because of the CD19. And we got to stop and slow down and say, wait, where's all this money going? Where's the money going? We need to have an audit done. I'm very serious. They got $300 million and they didn't do nothing.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. I appreciate the input. If I have a quick question, hopefully with a quick answer, you might be able to give me. Have you addressed any of this with their CD working group to talk about this? Have you attended any of their meetings and talked to them about it?
I want to.
Okay, well, I would suggest that you avail yourself to see what they have to say. I mean, just a suggestion. So, but I thank you for bringing out your concern. I appreciate that, Armando.
Ray, all the LAHSA meetings are all open to the public.
Right. Yeah, I think we mentioned that one of the other times. So I think when we had a presentation by Amber, she was very open to having further discussion with you, Armando. So okay. Anyway, it's 8:46. I'd like to say thank you to everyone. We're going to go ahead and bring the meeting to an end. I'll stop the recording in about 30 seconds just to say thank you. Stay safe out there. For those of you who have not gotten your vaccines, sign up. Joanna made a good offer out there for you all. Take
Yeah, I'm
advantage.
scheduled for tomorrow already. This is great.
That's great. I got mine coming up tomorrow also. So
Rock got his because Joanna announced it today, and that's awesome sauce.
yeah, there you go. Proof
See, being
positive
on the
that-
neighborhood council matters. There you go.
That's right.
So, all right, everybody, please take care of yourselves, and we'll.
You
we'll
too,
talk-
Ray. You
Yeah,
take care of
stay
that knee.
Take care of that leg.
Don't kick
That
anything.
hand look is something.
I've had both of mine and I'm still here.
All right. Okay, guys. Good night.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Good night, John.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.